Garvey. Brothers and sisters, we want to announce the foundation of a new UNIA division in the city of Baltimore, the Garvey Tubman X Division 172. Race first! Race first! Black power! Black power!
We are a coalition to make a groundbreaking event in Baltimore happen that has never happened documented-wise in the world. And that is the first red, black, and green human flag. Now, every year since 1914 at Fort McHenry, they've been doing the American human flag, and it's about 6,000 people that create this flag. And basically all it is that the people wear the colors or they hold the colors of their flag. So we're shooting for 10,000 strong on Marcus Garvey's birthday, which is August 17th of this year. And we need all of our people who believe in unity and believe that this can happen to register. So today we have tickets. It's $5 for adults, 18 and up, and 17 for children, 17 and under. And the main thing of this is acknowledging our greatness. We understand that there's many different strategies to organize, but our generation needs to see something positive. The Million Man March was beautiful. I didn't get the chance to experience it. So see this as basically another Million Man March movement, but much more to come out of it. Not just for our people to assemble. All of these committees up here have different positions, different responsibilities. So, Brother Sharif, what do you do?
Photography, film, and editing.
Brother Leo, what do you do?
Volunteer recruitment.
Sister Anna Quali. She's the history lecture.
Media, logistics.
What do you do, Sister Shirley?
Fundraiser.
International Affairs Committee, informing the other countries of the diaspora to organize as well.
What do you do, brother?
Event security.
Social media and website.
So we have a committee for almost everything you can think of, and more. Everybody's not here. So we just want to show you all that coming together, unifying, will make anything happen. And we're going to make this happen. Right now, we need people to register, particularly because the postal boards we have to buy, we're going to have to at least purchase more than 10,000 so we have enough for everyone. So if you could donate today, register for yourself today, that would be wonderful, and your children. That would be beautiful. Thank you for your time.
Peace, power, and harmony. My name is Mosiah Fit, and I'm the organizer of the Universal Assemble for the United States of Africa Coalition. Today is our first public address concerning what many are anticipating to be the next Million Man March movement. Brothers and sisters, friends and enemies, today, January 21st, the day that MLK Jr.'s life is recognized, we, the UAUSOA Coalition, would like to honor Dr. King's life by leading a movement that will carry on his mission along with other freedom fighters who had common missions, as in Harriet Tubman, Madam C.J. Walker, Booker T. Washington, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Malcolm X, and so many more. And what was their commonality? Solidarity and self-governance. That is what we as a coalition are pushing for. Solidarity and self-governance. Solidarity is unity amongst those with a common interest. We realize that we all have a common interest, which is black power and black unity. And the second, which is self-governance. We realize that we are integrated with cultures and customs that do not benefit our people. Integration was the worst thing to have happened to the descendants of Africans because it caused us to forfeit our very own morals, traditions, and customs that develop more peaceful human beings than the destructive, lost people that we see today. Today we welcome all other coalitions, entities, organizations, clubs, and individuals who are sick and tired of being sick and tired of the state of our people within America and across the African diaspora. We realize that we are in a different era today. We are in an era where the transparent issues of our people in the 60s are now disguised to be less of an issue today. When the truth is things are worse, and these are the facts. In 1985, 60 black-owned banks were providing financial services to their communities. Today, just 23 remain. In 11 states that headquartered black-owned banks in 1994, not a single one is still in business. Of the 50 black-owned insurance companies that operated during the 1980s, today just 2 remain. Here in Baltimore, the level of violent crime is much higher than the national average. From year 2000 to 2014, the homicides were averaging anywhere between 190 to 280. Then in year 2015, we hit the all-time highest homicide rate of 342 homicides, and it hasn't dropped below 300 ever since. Things are getting worse, and if you think they're getting better, then you too are part of the problem. So we figured out a solution, and that solution is UNITY. And what does that say, family? What does that spell?
Unity.
What does that spell?
Unity.
Unity. We realize that we have thousands of so-called grassroots organizations, agendas, and movements throughout the world, but the problem is there is no collective agenda that benefits us all. We present to you an agenda for all people of color, and it is called the RBG, or the red, black, and green, which is the flag that you see behind us, human flag. Never has it been created or recorded, and we invite you to join us in assembling the first RBG human flag here in Baltimore City, Maryland, on August 17th, which is Marcus Garvey's birthday, at Harlem Park Square. The RBG flag, which is the only flag that acknowledges the black man and woman's greatness. What is our motto? Acknowledging the black man and woman's greatness. Acknowledging our greatness. What is the motto? Acknowledging our greatness. What is the motto? Acknowledging our greatness. Has a strong legacy behind it. Most of us, as black people, have lost connection to our ancestors. Marcus Garvey, who created the RBG flag in America in 1920, realized this truth. A song made by racists in 1900 called Every Race Has a Flag But the Coon, and the coon was referring to you and I, so-called black people. Marcus Garvey set the record straight by creating this flag that's behind us in defense of our people's history, sacrifice, and self-worth. Every black family or individual within the USA should have this flag waving on their front porch or placed as a sticker on their car bumper. This flag was created for you, and I will allow Brother Suzuki to give a brief but thorough history on the making of this flag and the main contributors behind it.
I'm grateful to have this opportunity to say a couple words about Garvey and about the red, black, and green flag. I recall from my personal life the impact that it had on us when we were younger. When that flag was presented to us, it gave us a sense of identity. It gave us knowledge of the fact that we do belong to a people, and that those colors meant something. The red stood for the blood of our people, and the black stood for the red stood for the blood, and the black stood for the people, and the green stood for the land. But first I want to talk a little bit about Marcus Garvey himself and what it was that he went through. As a person, he was born in Jamaica, and as he grew up in life, he began to notice certain types of things, that race was a serious issue in the community. At first, he was a child, just like these folks on my right and on my left. And as he was growing up, there were whites in his community. And one of the first things that he encountered as a young person, he had a white friend. And this white friend was a lady friend. And she hit about 13 years old. And her father said to her, sent her away to school and said, "You're not to never to talk to this guy again. And you can't be friends with this guy again because this guy was a nigger." And that was the first thing that Garvey had run into, where he knew and found out that race had an importance in the land, and that it was of negative impact, he found. And he wondered why, you know. So as he studied, he eventually ran into a book that he had read by a gentleman named Booker T. Washington, and it was called Up From Slavery. And after he read that book, and Up From Slavery, what he did was he recognized that there was an issue, that this issue with race was a total global issue. It wasn't just an issue in Jamaica where he was living at and what have you. It was a global issue. And so he began to ask certain types of questions like, you know, where's our flag? You know, where is our kingdom? You know, where are our kings and queens? And where are our people of significant affairs? Where are our men of great affairs that we can come to and talk to about these types of issues? And then what he did from that was he committed his life to the idea of building these things up and providing these things to our people that our people did not have. And one major thing was he noticed that we did not have that flag. So he did some research, and he came up with those colors for us and presented those colors to us. And as the organization grew, it eventually became known, these colors became known as our colors around the planet. When the UNIA had hit its peak, there were about 500 different chapters of the UNIA, and they were in about 25 different countries. And so this flag wound up being all over the place and was a symbol for us as a people. He did many other things too. The flag was that thing that gave us our identity, and it gave us something to be proud of. What was happening at that time was everything about us was negative. We were considered to be coons. We were considered to be low life. We were considered to be all negative things. What Garvey gave to us was our first, was one of our early sets of pride that we could identify with coming up and out from slavery. These things we needed because everything was so negative that we didn't even want to be black. You know, we weren't proud of our nappy hair. We weren't proud of our dark skin. There were so many things that we were ashamed of. And what Garvey did was he gave us things to be proud of. And also, too, he reached out to try to establish some economic base. When he formed the Negro Factories Corporation, the purpose of that was to begin to answer some of the economic problems that we were having. Okay, and then he eventually wound up forming a Black Star Line. And within a short period of time, when he opened up and started selling stock for that Black Star Line, like within a couple of months, black people had accumulated enough money from us putting our little dollars together to purchase a ship for that Black Star Line. And this ship was another one of those symbols that gave us a lot to be proud of. It was a symbol of the economic power that we should have as a people, you know. And so he gave us these things that we could identify with and be proud of. And I want to keep my focus on the flag for right now because for us, that is what the topic was that I was supposed to discuss. So, as a people, one of the things that the slave-making and breaking process did to us was it stripped us of all knowledge of ourselves, and it stripped us of everything positive about ourselves. And so what the flag does in current times, it gave us an identity of us having a nation now. Instead of us being a bunch of individuals who want to be a part of somebody else's country or want to have citizenship in somebody else's country, what Garvey gave us pride and an identity and a desire for us to have a nation and a homeland of our own. This is extremely critical. And then Garvey also took and tied us and the flag and our people back to our original homeland, which was Africa. And it gave us a vision moving forward that this could be our economic base that we could be able to build, and we could build our civilization off of the way we had done. in the past. And as long as we move around and act like individuals, we will never become unified and be able to do those things that we need to do to provide those things that our people consume, for us to build the factories, for us to build the technology and the knowledge base and the philosophy to enable us to be able to be one united people around the planet. You know, as little as it is known, and we were the original people of the earth. We were the original people that were spreading civilization around the planet, and we're teaching people in a civilized manner about philosophy and agriculture and planting and harvesting. And we were building temples and pyramids and tombs all around this planet before we wound up running into the situation that wound up causing our people, when Egypt fell and Nubia fell, it caused northern Africa to fall, and eventually the rest of our civilizations wound up falling to a military defeat. And we still have not gotten up from that yet. Garvey represents us coming back together as that people, and that red, black, and green is that simple.